Racing takes place at Turffontein on Saturday, the 19th of August 2023. We are racing on the inside track, 9 races on the program, with race number 1 set to get underway at 12 o'clock. The bipod will commence in race number 2. It is, of course, a double header on Saturday, so you've got 2 good meetings to look forward to at Hollywoodbets Durbanville and the first at Turffontein, of course, at 12 o'clock. I'm joined by Alistair Cohen on the line. And Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ray. It'll be a good old week. We're not too far away from the Equus Awards. That'll be staged on Wednesday at Emperor's Palace up in Johannesburg, so really looking forward to that. And then obviously the sales, which start next Saturday. So all roads lead to Johannesburg next week. Should be a lot of racing people up in town, and looking forward to seeing them all. As for this double header, I quite like both cards. I had a very good look at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. I don't know what Graham had to say about that card, but I'm sure there are a few pearls of wisdom that he imparted, and hopefully the Turffontein card treats us well too. I think the way I look at it, you can probably take all the exotics between the two venues, maybe play quite aggressively at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and maybe look for payouts at Turffontein. That's been my line of thinking anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, race number 1 over 1,200 meters. Alicia's Love is your favorite at around 15 to 10. It is What a Lucy at 28 to 10, 7 to 1 about Wilkies. My Lady Soul from 25 to 1 in the market has shortened into 8 to 1 despite the comments being too short, but will need the experience. What's your thoughts on race number 1, Alicia's Love? Obviously that form line is very strong. In fact, all around today, her form lines are strong. It's just the draw that she's got to deal with.
Yeah, the draw's a problem. Obviously, Musieni and Ray Magna had a good day on Thursday at the Val. I wish they won with Dungeons. I thought it was quite funny that Ray Magna was standing at the number 2 box before the race while Brandon and I were doing the preview. You must have known something. Alicia's Love in the cold light of day should win this race, Raheel. Finished in front of subsequent winners, Inner Sense and World Heritage, and well in front of a horse called Bees and Honey, who granted ran in a weak work riders race, but came out and ran second. Out of that form, you're right in the form line's favour at number 5, Alicia's Love, to no end. When you consider Wilkies was behind World Heritage, a horse who Alicia's Love beat, and United We Stand was behind In a Sense, a horse who Alicia's Love beat. So I think that settled that particular debate. Number 10, What's a Lucy, was all the rage on debut. It was frightening the talk for her. Lucky Udalakis' comments to me where she is so quick, but she is temperamental. And she was slow away and didn't get a chance to show that pace that she shows back home. So depends how much she's learned from that run. With an advantageous draw, she could be dangerous. And the money on number 9, My Lady Soul, very interesting, because obviously the comments don't suggest anything, but the support on a well-bred first time, it does suggest something, or someone thinks something of number 9, My Lady Soul. 5, Alicia's Love, my top choice, but if the market continues to speak favourably about number 9, My Lady Soul, then she could be the alternative.
Yeah, she could certainly be that at around 8 to 1 in the market. Horse number 9, My Lady Soul, race number 1. Moving along to race number 2, which is set to be around over 1,600 meters. 12:30 is the off time for the second race on the day. Peyton's Tears, 22 to 10. Cape Light at 5 to 2. United Council trading at around 33 to 10 in the market. And when having a look at this event, Peyton's Tears obviously brings in some decent form. Second last time out behind Bard of Avon, doing her best work at the finish. Would she be the horse to beat for you, Alistair?
No more for me, Raheel. I've been on the right side of number 5, Peyton's Tears, for long enough now. I'm not suddenly going to give her a vote of confidence. I unfortunately think she's a brass. She runs her race, so she earns her money for Lucky Hudalakis, and from draw 1 back in a handicap, she's got good credentials, but the fact that she wouldn't go and fetch Bard of Avon last time and looked like she had Bard of Avon's number receiving 8 kilos, I think that is just a perfect snapshot for Peyton's Tears. So she hasn't won in 2.5 years. I think that punters are once bitten, twice shy. In fact, numerous times with number 5, Peyton's Tears. I think the winner could be number 1, Cape Lazio Raheel. She's come into her own of late. Just for the record, number 3, Lady Regent, actually got a stone cold in that run at the Val on the 24th of November. And when you look at the last run, even though Cape Lights finished in front of Lady Regent and has a good swing at the weights to stay in front of Lady Regent, she needed that run to Lady Regent. But she's not one to rely on because she can do absolutely anything. She's got a lot of ability, but with her it's first or last because she's got a mind of her own. And then as for number 4, Strange Magic, her last one was very good, was eye-catching. On her last run, she's a player. On her penultimate run, she's got no chance with Cape Light. So what I'm getting at, the most reliable horse in the race, number 1, Cape Light, even though she's got top weight, I like the way that she's running. I like the form that she's maintaining, and she could kick on and give Musi any potentially another winner of what has been a lovely August for him. So she's my top choice just for the reason that she's the most reliable horse in the race.
Question for you. Do you think he had the pick between numbers 1 and 2? Because United Council, lightly raced horse, that she must have some sort of credentials in this event.
Guaranteed Musi had the choice of rides. That's another factor. Yeah, it will be interesting to see if United Council was in here just to keep the race alive. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what stance Robbie Savage takes on Saturday morning. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Musi would have had the choice of rides.
Yeah, number 1, Cape Light's at around 5-2 in the market. Could just be the right horse in race number 2. Race number 3, 2,600 meters. The trip, the start of the place accumulator goes off at 1 o'clock. Well, it's Man's Night, even money favourite, and when you see him at the top of the boards, that's when you know that it's not the strongest of races. Time to Meditate, 33-10, 4-1 about Desert Fox, 11-2, and better about those. Alistair, I'm quite grateful that this is not the start of the pick 6, because I think you would probably have to go the field, even though there's some struggling horses in this event. But Man's Night, place accumulator, banker?
No banker. You're right, there are some struggling maidens. It's an opportunity for someone to exit the maidens here. I think the next few races are a lot more straightforward than this. My top choice, I loathe to take even money about number 3, Man's Night, even though he's probably the right horse in the race, having finished in front of number 1, Time to Meditate, to number 2, Desert Fox last time out. I think that form might turn around here, only because I think Time to Meditate going this type of trip for the second time in his career. The first time was behind American Grayson, who won a very useful Pinnacle Stakes subsequently. I think Time to Meditate from draw 1 will turn the form around with number 3, Man's Night, but don't hold me to that. Don't take that to the bank. And then my other inclusion, the place accumulates, number 5, Punta Alta. I think that was a weak maiden that she ran in last time, but she went to the front. She got shrugged off pretty well by Brotherhood of Magic and Awesome Valero, who runs later on in the card. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in a handicap. But Punta Alta gives me the impression that she's worth another chance over 2,600 meters. She's not going to Hollywood, but she does come from a yard that's never been in this form, under a jockey that's never been in this form, and also receives a bit of weight from numbers 1 and 3. So she is my alternative. In order of preference, 1, 3, and 5, they're all in the PA.
Yeah, even number 8, Exquisite Dawn. Now, she's been absolutely beaten out of sight in all of her starts to date, but we know how well Wayo Marwin does with these stayers. 51.5 on the back. I'd be inclined to include her at around 14-1 in the market as well as horse number 1. But it's quite a competitive racer. Man's Night, no good thing in the third. Race number 4, over 2,600 meters. It is a middle stakes that gets the pick 6 underway at 13.35. Your favorite in this event is Breeze Over at 2-1. 3-1 about Zeus. Spin Doctor, 11-2. About Rarotonga Rose, it's then 8-1 and better ball. Those number 7 out of your league is a scratch-in, which means it's a field of 8 runners that are set to compete here. Breeze Over, he's on a fairly quick backup. 7 days since he last ran, and that was behind Battleground last week. So we'll have to wait and see how he goes. But there's possibly a few horses that could run a nice race, stepping over 2,600 meters.
Yeah, Rahil, I'm not mad about Breeze Over in this race. I think he's a bit of a false favourite here. Even if you look at his run the 15th of July, Zeus has got his beating. There was only a length between them, and Zeus comes in here 2 kilos better off. So, Breeze Over, I think, has got some vulnerabilities. I really like a horse here. He has to stay, but I think he'll stay because he's bred to stay and he runs like he'll stay. That's number 2, Spin Doctor. I like the last run to Perfect Witness. There's already been a winner out of that form. And I think that Lucky Hudalakis could be in for a fairly good day. Be interesting to see how he's ridden because there's no real evidence of a cracking pace. And I also think, I suppose Indian War Dance can go for lightweight. But also with Lucky Stable Companion number 6, Rarotonga Rose, being the best weighted horse in the race, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out because she's got draw 1. But Rarotonga Rose, I think was well above the handicapper sort of towards the end and the start of this year. Maybe the handicap has just caught up with number 6 Rarotonga Rose, but this is her best chance in a while with 51.5 kilos on her back. And obviously middle stakes do favour the fillies and mares, as the best weighted column suggests. But if number 2 Spin Doctor stays, like I suspect he will, and I suspect he'll stay all day, just like Battleground did a week earlier, then I think number 2 Spin Doctor's the horse to watch. I've banked him in the place accumulator. I'm not foolish enough to bank him in the pick 6 in the opening leg of the pick 6. You'll need a few others, but I think he's the value in the race at the price that he's currently showing.
Yeah, he could certainly be the right horse in the race, and Spin Doctor, one to keep an eye on. But Rarotonga Rose, stable companion, as you heard from Alistair, Lucky Udalakis could have a decent day. Maybe his 2 horses could be the ones to fight out the finish in race number 4. Race number 5, it's an MR68 handicap over 2,000 meters. And this event, the Inkosana is your favorite at 15-10. 4-1 Angel's Wish, 6-1 Rosie Lemon, 8-1. And better bar those. Now, number 4, the Inkosana, he's certainly just, he's found form of late. And he's cracked a good draw. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't get the 2.5 kgs off the back. But he gets the services of Gavin Larina. That could possibly make up for a bit. Horse enjoys course and distance. And no doubt he's the one to beat, Alistair.
Sure. For Gavin's sake, I hope he wins, because Gavin was in a very grumpy mood on Thursday at the VAR. I managed to get a smile out of him. I spoke to him after the last race, and he, by Gavin's standards, was not happy with his day, so hoping that he can go better. The Inkosana, what happened last time? What was the Anderson Seaboard doing? Was the race not run to suit? I don't know. He went to the front and commanded every inch at his penultimate start over this course and distance, and then a race later, he was dropped in. It just made no sense, and he still ran well. There is going to be pace in this race, obviously, with the likes of Brotherhood of Magic, probably Summerland as well. If Summerland takes gets the bit between her teeth, then she could really set things up nicely for number 4. The Inkosana. I like the way that he's turned the corner, and even though we got a penalty for being a loser last time out, I still think that run was all wrong. He'd been on my radar for a long time, which many viewers know, and I think that he is a good thing to run into the first 3, and I think that he is probably the most reliable bet on the day, just with how I see things working out. I mean, Brotherhood of Magic, I think, beat a very weak maiden last time out. I thought he was on his way to PE, to be honest, because I know that there was interest in him to go down to Abeka. 8 Coromandel, I think, could be the biggest danger to number 4, the Inkosana. He ran a nice race last time, but he'll need to confirm that last performance. So number 4, the Inkosana, if he misses the first 3, I will go into Harding. If he doesn't win, there'll be a little bit of damage done, but I think that 15-10 is a fair price, and I like him to win the 5th.
Yeah, he is certainly the right horse in the race, but if he manages to miss out, well, then it's certainly a bomb result in those exotics. Race number 6, 14:45, the off time, 1,000 meters a trip for this middle stakes. Captain Hindsight favorite at 22-10, 28-10. Big Eyed Girl, Texas Red, 10-1 into 5-1. That's interesting early support. 8-1 and better bar those. Let's start with Texas Red, because he's returning off a layoff, but the horses from the Ashley Fortune Yard, my oh my, they are absolutely flying. I think you'd be way up if you backed every single horse that has run from the yard.
Yeah, it's a bit of a puzzling trend, isn't it, Raheel? Number 2, Texas Red. I've spoken to Ashley about Texas Red a number of times, and he can be a bit doolally, and his form does show that. When he runs well, or when he behaves, he's obviously a very good horse, but he doesn't behave, you can see that he can run the odd stinker. So just keep your ears pricked with number 2, Texas Red. If he goes down to the start nicely, is not throwing his toys and seems to be behaving well, then that makes the support look all the more appetizing. The favorite number 1, Captain Hindsight, I watched that race closely over 1,000 meters last time, because he has won over 1,000 meters. He was quite prolific as a youngster over the trip, and I just don't think he's got the pace. He stayed on nicely, and maybe the Turffontein inside track might be a little bit too quick for him, and from a bad draw, his options are going to be limited. So it'll be interesting to see what Captain Hindsight gets up up to in race number 6. So I've passed him by, and I've gone with the fillies again because of the conditions of the race, this being a middle stakes. 3 Big-Eyed Girl, 1,000-meter specialist. I know she won a penultimate over 1,200 meters, but on a quick track from draw 1, it's going to be pretty uncomplicated. I think number 3 Big-Eyed Girl is the one that bears watching. Bit of a concern, the not really a concern. Flower Bomb ran disappointingly at her last start, but there have been winners out of that race regardless last time out behind Flower Bomb when she was doing her best work late. So 3 Big-Eyed Girl, my top choice, and I'm giving another chance to number 6 Rosara. Off that weight, she's appealing. Back in June, she ran 4.5 lengths behind Big-Eyed Girl, and she's got a very valuable swing at the weight. She should get a lot closer. So if I'm making that case for Big-Eyed Girl, then number 6 Rosara's got to get in as well. She stayed on fairly well last time out. I'm a bit stuck with number 6 Rosara, and that she runs like 1,200 meters will suit, but then that 1,200 meter race at her penultimate run was her worst run in a while. So don't really know where I stand with number 6 Rosara, but I'm going to give her another shot or two, especially when she gets into a handicap soon. So 3 and 6 my PA numbers, but in the pick 6 you'll need to go in with a few. Even a horse like number 7 Gallivanting, sure, from a once 101 down to the 79, she's going to pop up one of these days. Maybe not quite here, but just keep note of her. If she sort of runs 4th, 5th, stays on nicely, then I'll be lining her up for next time.
Rosara 8-1 in the market compared to the 28-10 about a Big-Eyed Girl. You can certainly see where the value lies in race number 6. Race number 7, NMR 68 handicap over 1,200 meters, and this goes off at 3. Tuscan Gold 28-10 favorite. Coming in hot is at 9-2. It's 11-2 about Runaway Bomb, 7-1. And better bar those. This horse Tuscan Gold, I was a bit disappointed to see him run last time out. I thought that he should have probably been scratched and given a bit of a rest after that run. But nonetheless, he returns 1,200 meters. Not quite sure whether it's a right trip for him. I'm battling with him because his debut run, I thought he should have won, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it, Alistair, but nonetheless, he's the favourite in this event, and many will be with him, but there's probably a few that you want to include.
Yeah, Raheel, I don't know where I stand with number 2 Tuscan Gold either. He was just so flat at his last start. Maybe it was the second run after rest, just backing up 5 days later, that caught him out. But now, just over a week later, he's back, so I can't work it out. But Tony Peter obviously does things that obviously seem to work. So number 2 Tuscan Gold, I've put him in only because that's my reason. It's because I've got 3 horses in my place accumulator. 3 coming in hot goes in as well. Donald Heertsen takes her out for Fani Broncos. He's holding form. Number 3 coming in hot. He seems to run his best races on the inside track over 1,200 meters. He'll be staying on. The better the pace, the better for number 3 coming in hot. And then number 5 Time Is Ticking. I've been looking for her because her last one was so appealing, the way that she turned it on. I know she beat Lollapalooza, who's no great shakes, but the reason why she's been off such a long time is because she bled for the second time, so she had to get a 120-day suspension, being Epistaxis episode number 2. So 5 Time Is Ticking, if she shows no ill effects and can come out fresh and repeat that last run, which came over this course and distance, there's no reason to believe that she can't go in again. So tricky race. Like I said, the last 3 races do have me scratching my head. There are lots in here with chances, 2, 3 and 5, but literally just hoping to survive this leg of the place accumulator.
I've been keeping an eye on this horse Written in Stone because he's been dropping in the ratings nicely, and then last time out, not sure what the handicap is trying to do to the horse. He's an 8-year-old that hasn't won in 1,071 days, and for running third you give him 2 points in an 8-horse field. It just makes no sense at all. I mean, you're trying to restrict a horse that's an 8-year-old that's not improving much, but I'm happy to give him another chance and include him into the mix at around 10-1 in the market. Horse number 9 rather, Written in Stone. Race number 8, a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,500 meters. 15:50 is the off time, and this event, it's a field of 9 that go to post. Tazona, favorite at 28-10. And it is Quantum Theory at 7-2, Cabinet Shuffle 5-1, along with Danilo Danilovic, who's found a bit of early support from around 7-1, and then it's 7-1 and better bar those. What's your thoughts on this Pinnacle Stakes over the 1,500 meters? Because I remember you mentioning that you're waiting for Takenor to go over a bit of a trip, and Now that he's 4, Roy Magna has decided that he's going to put him over a bit of a trip, 1,500 meters. You with him?
I'm with him, but not with a great degree of confidence, Raheel, because yes, he's bred to go this trip and more. He's related to horses that they go 2,000 metres without any fuss whatsoever. In fact, in his pedigree, there's the likes of Legislate and a few others. Justin Snaith has a good record with his family, and Taikonauts was good enough to win 1,000-metre features. So that's the level that Taikonauts is. But his last few runs, I mean, what chances he got with Danilo Danilovic at the weights? Not much on the last run. So, I'm lukewarm at number 2 Taikonauts because spot on. I've been waiting for him over this trip for a long time, but have they waited too long? I don't know. He's in my play, as is the stable companion, funny enough, number 16 Gold. I think this is absolutely perfect for Team Gold. He's 1 from 1 over this course and distance. Obviously not many 1,500-metre races on the inside track. He's an inside track specialist. He's got a turn of foot with a pace that's likely to be on with a whole lot of sprinters in this race trying this distance. That could set up nicely for number 16 Gold. So he is my place play in this race. I don't know if he's good enough to win, but he's my place play. And then number 5, Quantum Theory, who pound for pound I think is as good, if not better, than everything else in this race. But I spoke to Robbie Sage before his last run. I said, Robbie, what are we going to do with Quantum Theory? And he says, I don't know what to say. This horse is so talented, so good, but he's just forgotten how to win. There's been races where he's an absolute penalty kick at the weights and he's failed to win. It's just, I think, the frustration of him not winning for such a long time is hopefully not getting the better of them. So 5 Quantum Theories, and I think what else is interesting is the Muzi Yeni factor. Muzi would have had the option with number 2 Taikonauts, 5 Quantum Theory and 16 Gold, and he's gone with Quantum Theory. So don't know if there's anything to read into that. They my 3 horses in race number 8. My place play is number 16 Gold. I'm hoping that Taikonauts or Quantum Theory can win the race, but there are quite a few that I respect.
Yeah, Team Gold could certainly be some nice value at around 7 to 1 in the market. Better off at the weights with Quantum Theory on their last start behind After Profit, who was a bit unlucky last time on yesterday rather, not to win, beaten by Emirates Gino, who had to concede a lot of weight too, but 5 and 6 rather, 2 horses that could possibly fight out the finish. Roy Magna, Robbie Sage could possibly go head-to-head in the penultimate race on the day. Race number 9 over 1,600 meters, an MR 75 handicap, jumps at 25 past 4. So it is an early finish to the meeting out at Turffontein. Mo the Man, 28 to 10 favourite. 9 to 2, Elusive Swan. Imvalelo at 11 to 2. It's then 6 to 1. And better bar those. Interesting to see Mike de Kock taking his chances with Imvalelo. Maiden taking on winners with 54.5 on the back, but what do you think of this drawn 1? Do you think that could possibly have been the positive or the feather in the camp for him?
He was nominated for quite a few races on this day, Raheel, including the 2-6 maiden. And here we are over a mile from draw 1 with 54.5. I hate to say it, I think that last run the maiden plate was pretty much in slow motion. I liked him Valero at his penultimate start. I expected improvement. He ran 3rd, made money there. And last time after Fashimi Inari got scratched at the start, I thought, right, here we go, Valero's turn. And, he was just stuck in the mud. So I think when he wins, it'll be over 2,000 metres plus.
How well did he move up last time out?
He moved up so well. I don't know what to make of number 10 in Valero. I wish more trainers would run their maidens in handicaps because we see it overseas day in, day out, and obviously it's a tried and tested experiment. But here trainers are reluctant. Mike de Kock, one of the few who's brave enough to do it. I think the winner comes from higher up the weights here, Raheel. Let's start with number 3, Nazare. His last run was all wrong when he stumbled coming out the stalls. It was hard to watch, and then he stayed on so well behind Funky Music. Obviously won a race a good 2 divisions stronger than what Nazare runs in. Inside track is absolutely perfect for him because he's got a bit of a turn of foot. He beats a horse that's highly regarded as penultimate start. He's working fairly well. If he goes a mile, that's the kicker. He's got to go 1,600 metres. Last time he ran like he would, so optimistic that Nazare will give it a good shake, but he's no good thing. For Elusive Swan keeps running his races. He's got to be bang there, the 6-year-old, a real model of consistency. He's been lovely for Fani Broncos. And then number 1 on the card, Mo the Man, off top weight. won't be particularly easy. On a Lance through Haslo Grande on the 11th of July, Elusive Swan's got Mo the Man fairly well held, so I think he's a bit of a false favourite, number one, Mo the Man. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, dropping in distance. I know he won his maiden over this distance, so, number one, Mo the Man, although the likely improver, he's got more improvement to come than number 4, Elusive Swan, that's for sure. But he always struck me as a horse that the better he'll be when he goes further. So I think there are vulnerabilities with quite a few in this race. So I think maybe number 3, Nazaro, could, if he goes this distance, could be the right one. Hoping so, anyway.
Yeah, number 2, Rattlebag, romped home to victory just 7 days ago. Beat a weaker field, but if you like a bit of Nazare, then on that run to funky music, this horse could come in with a chance. And both at around a decent price, 6-1, 7-1. So maybe some swingers in the last with numbers 2 and 3 to close off your day out at Turffontein. Let's move along to the suggested bet part of the show, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet for the 9-race program out at Turffontein on Saturday. Alistair, take it away.
Okay, so obviously the place accumulator begins in race number 3 on this card, and 1, 3 and 5 in the first leg of the place accumulator, but banker 2 in the second leg, but banker 4, so that's where I'm playing it thin. Then I think you've got to open up a little bit, but 3 and 6 in leg 4, which is race number 6, but 2, 3 and 5, that's the hardest race on the card. The punters want to throw a few more in, don't be afraid, but 2, 5 and 6, so that's the Muzi Yeni race, and be interested to see if he's chosen correctly with Quantum Theory against the 2 Magna runners, and then 1, 3 and 4 in the back, so Nazario, Mo the Man and Elusive Swan. It's quite a costly place accumulator, but I think the exotics are going to pay well at Turffontein on Saturday.
Yeah, they could certainly be worth quite a bit of cash, those exotics out at Turffontein on Saturday. All the best, guys. Hopefully Alistair and myself have managed to guide you in the right direction with the 9 races on the program. As I mentioned, two race meetings on Saturday locally to look forward to, and hopefully you make yourself a bit of cash.